the LA Clippers are a total disaster right now. They are 5-16, which is one of the worst records in the league. And they're supposed to be competing right now. I mean, they weren't championship contenders, but they were looked at to have a great offseason when they got John Collins for Norman Powell, who was looked at as a great addition as a bouncy, athletic power forward who can fit like a hole in the power forward that they had for a long time. And also, he was really good with the Jazz the previous season. Also, they got Brook Lopez, who could be a serviceable backup center. I mean, just a few seasons ago, he was Defensive Player of the Year candidate. Then you have Chris Paul, who was a good starting point guard still for the Spurs at like 39, 40 years old. And for the Clippers, he will be a backup, which still could service. And then Bradley Beal, who had a really good season with the Suns. But everything has crumbled. They started out solid 3-3, but then Kawhi Leonard got injured. Bradley Beal got injured. Everyone is old. Like when you see the Clippers play, they play with just a horrible offense. They can't defend because they're too old to defend. They're too slow. Like they have too many turnovers. I'm not gonna lie. And then like just their roster is basically James Harden and Kawhi Leonard, if healthy, carrying this team for like 3 quarters during the game, and in the last quarter they just run out of gas, lose, get blown out. Kawhi Leonard has been injured too. He has struggled with injuries this season, which is horrible because they started all right. Like if Kawhi was healthy, maybe they would be like in the play-in, but Kawhi was out. Harden couldn't really carry, even though he was looking really good actually. And Ivica Zubac has not looked as good as last season, where he was in contention for an All Star. Like he was playing really good last season, and then players such as like Chris Paul, Brook Lopez has been in and out of the rotation. Bradley Beal got injured and is out for the rest of the season in just 5 games, where he looked really bad. But like even if he looked really bad with Kawhi Leonard injured, like he could have possibly like ramped it up and be a solid second option to like Harden at least. But he's injured too. Derrick Jones Jr. got injured. Chris Dunn has looked all right, but he has definitely not been as good defensively as the season before. Then John Collins has not looked as good as well. And Nick Batum, who was a pretty good role player, has started to look like Father Time has caught up to him. So like this LA Clippers team has no depth now with injuries and their signings being horrible. But like we just got some crazy news that made it even worse for them. As you know, 5-16 record, right? They don't even have their first round pick because of that Paul George trade with the Shea Alexander still happening, which is crazy. Like they will probably give a top 3 pick to the best team in the league. They'll go on a crazy dynasty possibly. I mean, I think that they would like have to pay up all their players, and those will be kind of bad because like the salary cap and all that stuff. So it won't be as much of a dynasty as you think, but still, it's gonna be a dynasty if they win this championship this season. But as you saw, Chris Paul just got waived, which is kind of crazy. Like this is a hometown. I mean, not hometown. This is a Clippers legend right here. This is a player that Lob City, like he is synonymous with the Clippers. Probably if you think of Chris Paul, the first team you would think of is the LA Clippers. And he was in and out of the rotation, but he was not as bad as some of the other signings like Brook Lopez. He was still playing some minutes, locker room leader. But for some reason, they decided to waive him or send him home. Now, technically, he's still on the team, but he just got sent home. This has been actually a thing that the Clippers have done. They have sent home Bones Highland and PJ Tucker before, like 2 seasons ago, and I've also sent home Marcus Morris before, trading all of them. But like, this is kind of crazy because Like Chris Paul is a lot more of a meaning than PJ Tucker, Bones Highland, Marcus Morris. Like Chris Paul was signed for the LA Clippers to have this like reunion for his last season, and he decided, I mean the Clippers decided to waive him. This is outrageous, man. Chris Paul didn't want to get waived either. It was the Clippers' decision. Like I don't know what's gonna happen. He's still on the team. He might get traded, released, not sure. But like this is even worse. Maybe they're gonna blow it up because like I think like maybe they're trying to do a trade, which is why they waived or will release Chris Paul. Because if they release Chris Paul, they're still above the first apron or whatever you want to call it. Like they will still not really like get anything out of it. So there should be more to this story of Chris Paul and stuff. It's kind of weird that they release him, but this is just a terrible season for the LA Clippers. They also have not won a team really in a long time. Like they're 2-13 in their last 15, I believe, games, which is terrible. They're probably like there's a really little chance that they get into the play-in. It is possible. They're 3 games back of the Blazers, but they had to go on a crazy stretch. James Harden and Kawhi Leonard and Zubats. Like those are the only players that actually are affecting the game pretty good for their team. The rest of the players have not been good at all. I don't know. Maybe a trade is coming on the horizon soon because it will be 2 weeks until the December 15th deadline, which is when anyone can get traded. So that might happen with the Chris Paul situation, but it's just been a odd day right now as Chris Paul got waived at 3 a.m. too. That's kind of crazy. And this Clippers situation, not only that, you still have the Kawhi aspiration stuff and the All Star 2026, which is supposed to be an Intuit Dome. And it just seems like the Clippers are just falling off. Now, they did have this plan to like have cap space in 2026 and 2027, but still, I do not know why they would just like not even fire Ty Lue and Lawrence Frank, their coach and GM, but rather just waive up Chris Paul, who is a legend, all time great during his farewell tour is crazy. Like, I have no idea why they would do this. And no one really knows why the Clippers are doing this right now still. But yeah, that's basically it. Thank you guys for watching.